our class. Our class for today, we're going to start it now. So today we're going to look at a new topic called target costing. We're going to look at target costing. Okay. So let me bring up the slides. Just give me 1 second. I'll bring up the slide. Let's bring up the slide. Just 1 second. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just trying to get this slide here. Just stop sharing. Just give me 1 second. Right. Yes. Sorry, the system is misbehaving a bit, so just bear with me. Just bear with me 1 second. No, this is not what I want. Okay, so I think for now, what we're going to look at, I'll bring up the slides, but we can continue discussing. So first, we have to have a recap on ABC, okay, activity-based costing. Because last week we were looking at activity-based costing. Okay, so can we refresh our memory, please? Activity-based costing, ABC. Can someone tell me what ABC was all about? What did we learn during the last 2 classes? ABC and absorption costing, okay? Yes, who is going to bell the cat?
No, yeah,
okay,
this is
Mr.
Bokar
Balde,
Balde.
yes, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, like if you talk about ABC,
Yes.
it's a new system of costing products.
It's a new system of?
Yeah, but if normally look at the overheads.
Okay. It looks at the overheads?
Costing, product cost.
Product cost.
I mean, if
Hello,
you look at
Abubakar, yes, we
overhead,
are
unit
listening.
overhead, yeah, if you look at the overhead based on the level of activities. Yeah, like what I'm trying to say, if you come to the overheads, in ABC, it look at the product overhead cost based on the level of activities. Unlike absorption costing, whereby it distributed evenly. Unlike the absorption costing, where it will look at the product overhead evenly. Yeah.
Okay, so how does the ABC oppose on fixed cost compared to absorption costing? How does it do it? Yes, Abubakar, go ahead. You started, you're on track. You're on track, go ahead. Who can help, please? Who can help? Let's move, please.
I think it apportion overhead based on the amount of unit or unit, I believe, consumed by a particular variable or so.
Okay. So in other words, it consumes overheads based on variables. And what are those variables called? Cost drivers. Excellent. They are called cost drivers. Okay, they are called cost drivers. So the main difference between activity-based costing ABC and absorption costing is that absorption costing uses one arbitrary method or basis of sharing overheads to products or services or departments. Just one way. Whilst the activity-based costing apportions or shares overheads based on various factors, based on various cost drivers, and the cost drivers are based on activities, isn't it? Okay, they are based on activities. Okay, so we have seen from last classes that ABC is a better method. Okay, it's very, very efficient. It makes product costing easier, and it gives how to call it? It gives a very, very efficient share of fixed overhead to each product or each service, whilst the absorption costing only uses one. Okay, so it's not the best way. We're going to proceed further today by looking at another costing technique. Okay, another costing technique called target costing. Okay, we're going to look at target costing today. Right, so I think I'm done. Now I can share it with you. Looks good now. Okay, so can you see my slides?
Yes, you can see my slides. Yes.
You can see my slides. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so let's make progress. Yes. So like I said, today the topic will be target costing. What we're going to look at, of course, will be first a recap of ABC. I think we spent good time on ABC, so we will not waste much time on the recap. Then we're going to look at a video on target costing. These videos are very useful because it explains the practicalities. So we're going to have a video for about 5 minutes. Then we're going to look at the need for target costing. Why do we need to do target costing? We're going to look at the definition of target costing. What do we mean by target costing? Okay. We're going to look at the steps that we'll have to undergo in order to in order to implement a target costing regime. We're going to have a couple of questions, example 1 and example 2, and we're going to do an exam type question called Edwards Company. We're going to look at value engineering. Okay, value engineering is a method that is used. Sorry. Yes, go ahead. What's the problem? Hello, did someone wants to say something, or I should proceed?
Proceed.
Okay, so we're going to look at value engineering. Okay, value engineering is closely related to target costing. Okay, in that when we are doing our target costing, we need to use a system which will improve our costing. So value engineering exactly does that. So what it does, it looks at each of the various facets of the cost and then tries to see how it can be reduced, making sure that value or quality of the product is not compromised. We're going to look at it. We're going to look at how we close target costing gap, the gap that will be created.
Yeah, Mr. Fofana, sorry, I am not seeing the presentation. That's what I wanted to tell you.
You are not seeing it?
Hadi, maybe it's because of your device, but we are seeing it right now, and he's presenting on the.
Yes, I think everybody's seeing it. Just check your device. Maybe you press something, something wrong somewhere. Just check it. You should see it. Okay.
Mr. Fofana, ask him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right now there's two Lamin Fofana. That is on this screen, and the other one for the presentation. Let her just get to the second Lamin Fofana.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
tell her not to show. Let him the other one, Mr. Fofana.
Exactly. Yeah. So just
let her
press.
click on
You
the other.
will see maybe two Lamin Fofanas. So if you are on the other one, just click on the next one. Maybe that should allow you to see the presentation. Okay? Okay, shall we move?
Yes, let's go.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to look at how to close the gap between a target cost and an estimated cost using value engineering. Okay. We're going to look at some advantages of target costing and, of course, some demerits. That's where we are. Okay, so before we proceed, I'll just show you this video. Relax and watch.
This presentation looks briefly.
Can you see the video?
Not yet, not yet.
No, not yet. No. Okay. Yeah, 1 second, I'll pop it up. I'll pop it up soon, no worry. Can you see it now? Can you see the video now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see the video.
You can see
the technique of target costing. A typical value system might be described as including elements such as research and development, design, manufacturing, marketing and distribution, followed by after-sales customer service. The target cost is particularly relevant at the design stage, as this is where the cost of manufacture is determined, as well as the features of the product. To determine the target cost, we take the price we think will be competitive in the market.
Mr. Tuha,
yes.
It's echoing. Why not you off your mic so that you can hear only the video?
Okay, let's try. Okay, I'll do that.
I think it's Abdullah Kinte's mic.
This presentation looks briefly at the technique.
Is somebody's mic, huh?
Yes, it was Abdullah Kinte's mic.
Okay, don't worry. So I'll try again. I'm going to mute my mic. So if it is not functioning well, if it is not functioning well, just let me know. Then I'll hear you. Yeah.
Of target costing. A typical value system might be described as including elements such as research and development, design, manufacturing, marketing and distribution, followed by after-sales customer service. The target cost is particularly relevant at the design stage, as this is where the cost of manufacture is determined, as well as the features of the product. To determine the target cost, we take the price we think will be competitive in the marketplace, usually ascertained via marketing research, and deduct the desired profit margin, which leaves us with the target cost. If we can't get the cost down to this level, then it could be argued that it isn't a viable product offering. It is suggested that lowering the cost of design without losing the functionality of the product can be a motivating factor for employees. If we were to look at this as a step-by-step process, the first thing we could do is determine the market price. And this is usually done via marketing research, or it could be, if we're entering a market that exists, we take the main competitor's price as a proxy price to begin with. We then need to determine the desired profit for this particular product. And deducting that from the price would obviously give us the calculated target cost. We can then use techniques such as value engineering to identify ways to reduce the product cost. Also using Kaizen costing and other techniques to see whether we can get the cost down to the target cost. One aspect of this process is that we need to make sure that we have as accurate a costing system as possible and as good an understanding of how the costs are incurred, i.e. the cause and effect within the cost drivers. Let's take a brief look at some of the methods we could use to reduce costs. We can use techniques such as value engineering. This examines trade-offs between different product functionality or features and their relationship between the total product cost. We are essentially trying to understand the costs of providing the functionality or features and stacking this up against the value added to the customer. Within this, we could use functional analysis. Here we look at the analysis of the functions offered and make decisions based on marketing research, again with reference to the value and the cost. We could look at the design analysis, maybe looking at different designs as these impact on the cost of manufacture, maybe reducing the number of parts, which makes assembly easier, or using standard parts, which again reduces the cost. And of course, allied to this, we have to have a good understanding of the costs associated with the various decisions, and using computer-based databases that include comprehensive information about the firm's cost drivers is obviously helpful here. The key, though, is to ensure that we don't take away the reasons why customers buy the product in the first place just because it reduces costs. We could use a technique known as Kaizen costing. Kaizen costing is basically looking at continually reducing the costs, a process of continuous improvement. And the focus here is to try and reduce costs via improved methods of manufacturing, operations control, and techniques such as total quality management. One aspect of target costing is that average costs will reduce as the volume increases, depending of course on the incidence of fixed costs. So it might be possible to achieve the target cost when the volume approaches 20% of the potential market. This can mean that setting the price is critical, as losses may be made in the first instance, but the rewards of achieving a high market share and high volumes can be very profitable. And this of course emphasises the importance of working very closely with the marketing team, as estimating demand can be critical in setting the pricing. So target costing is achieved through teamwork, right the way through the whole process, not just by one department. So target costing is a team effort. Looking at competitive products can also be important, particularly if there are existing products in the market, and looking at how our competitive products are made is just as important as estimating the total cost of manufacturing and product costs. Value engineering and the design team we've seen can play a key role, as does customer feedback and building that into the design. Redesigning production and what and how support services are provided can also be significant. And of course, not forgetting the marketing, distribution and after-sales service aspects, as these all have an impact on costs. The key thing to remember is that the cost can be saved throughout the whole value system, including working with external suppliers. And the ultimate aim is to hit the target cost. This video is part of a series of short videos that explain specific aspects of the strategic management framework.
Okay, so how was the video?
Yes, Mr.
I hope
Hovana.
it was clear. It was clear.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Mr. Hovana, can you please
Yes.
play the video again because my connection went off. I had problem with the internet.
Okay, no problem. I'll play it once more.
This presentation looks briefly at the tech. This presentation looks briefly at the technique of target costing. A typical value system might be described as including elements such as research and development, design, manufacturing, marketing and distribution, followed by after-sales customer service. The target cost is particularly relevant at the design stage, as this is where the cost of manufacture is determined, as well as the features of the product. To determine the target cost, we take the price we think will be competitive in the marketplace, usually ascertained via marketing research, and deduct the desired profit margin, which leaves us with the target cost. If we can't get the cost down to this level, then it could be argued that it isn't a viable product offering. It is suggested that lowering the cost of design without losing the functionality of the product can be a motivating factor for employees. If we were to look at this as a step-by-step process, the first thing we could do is determine the market price. And this is usually done via marketing research, or it could be, if we're entering a market that exists, we take the main competitor's price as a proxy price to begin with. We then need to determine the desired profit for this particular product. And deducting that from the price would obviously give us the calculated target cost. We can then use techniques such as value engineering to identify ways to reduce the product cost. Also using Kaizen costing and other techniques to see whether we can get the cost down to the target cost. One aspect of this process is that we need to make sure that we have as accurate a costing system as possible and as good an understanding of how the costs are incurred, i.e. the cause and effect within the cost drivers. Let's take a brief look at some of the methods we could use to reduce costs. We can use techniques such as value engineering. This examines trade-offs between different product functionality or features and their relationship between the total product cost. We are essentially trying to understand the costs of providing the functionality or features and stacking this up against the value added to the customer. Within this, we could use functional analysis. Here we look at the analysis of the functions offered and make decisions based on marketing research, again with reference to the value and the cost. We could look at the design analysis, maybe looking at different designs as these impact on the cost of manufacture, maybe reducing the number of parts, which makes assembly easier, or using standard parts, which again reduces the cost. And of course, allied to this, we have to have a good understanding of the costs associated with the various decisions, and using computer-based databases that include comprehensive information about the firm's cost drivers is obviously helpful here. The key, though, is to ensure that we don't take away the reasons why customers buy the product in the first place just because it reduces costs. We could use a technique known as Kaizen costing. Kaizen costing is basically looking at continually reducing the costs, a process of continuous improvement. And the focus here is to try and reduce costs via improved methods of manufacturing, operations control, and techniques such as total quality management. One aspect of target costing is that average costs will reduce as the volume increases, depending of course on the incidence of fixed costs. So it might be possible to achieve the target cost when the volume approaches 20% of the potential market. This can mean that setting the price is critical, as losses may be made in the first instance, but the rewards of achieving a high market share and high volumes can be very profitable. And this of course emphasises the importance of working very closely with the marketing team, as estimating demand can be critical in setting the pricing. So target costing is achieved through teamwork right the way through the whole process, not just by one department. So target costing is a team effort. Looking at competitor products can also be important, particularly if there are existing products in the market, and looking at how our competitor products are made is just as important as estimating the total cost of manufacturing and product costs. Value engineering and the design team we've seen can play a key role, as does customer feedback and building that into the design. Redesigning production and what and how support services are provided can also be significant. And of course not forgetting the marketing, distribution and after-sales service aspects, as these all have an impact on costs. The key thing to remember is that the cost can be saved throughout the whole value system, including working with external suppliers. And the ultimate aim is to hit the target cost. This video
Okay, so can we just make a few comments on the video, your understanding of the video before we look at the topic itself? So from the video, what can you learn? I think it gave you
Mr. Fofana, from the video,
yes,
I have learned that target costing is relevant to the design stage.
Okay, it is relevant, very, very relevant at the design stage of the product. Excellent, very good. Yeah, any other points?
Mr. Fofana,
Yes,
what I learned from this video is that in order to determine the target cost, you have to determine the desired market price in an available market.
Okay, that's good. That's good. 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 Anyone else?
And the techniques used to calculate target costing.
Okay, Mariama, yes. So what are some of the techniques? Just mention one, Mariama.
The profit, the design profit, to calculate the profit.
Okay, so first is to, of course, find the how to call it, the profit, and then that will be, that's not the first stage, but it's part of the stages. Yes, the desired profit. Yes, that's one.
Yeah,
okay.
and then you
Anyone
also
else?
talk about the effect of volume on cost.
Okay, the volume on cost. Okay, okay. Anyone else?
I think the first stage is you have to know your target, your price, your competitive price. Then you deduct your desired profit from it.
Yeah, exactly. That's really important to know your competitive price, the competitive price being the price at which the product you are trying to make is being offered in the market. For example, if you want to produce soap, at the design stage of the soap manufacturing, at the design stage, you must do a market research that will show you what are the competitive prices of that soap in the market. So very true, that's the first stage. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, so let's proceed. I think that was a good, how to call it, understanding of the video from some of you. Okay, so the video gives us a very good footing to start our lectures. Okay, so first we're going to look at the need for target costing. Why do we need target costing? Okay, when we look at the traditional costing systems, the activity-based costing, you know, the absorption costing, and so on and so forth. what it does is, one of the uses is to calculate selling price. Okay, this is the price at which we're going to sell our products that are being manufactured. Okay, this is really important, and it's one of the most beneficial uses of all these costing techniques, because business is all about making money, and we make money through the products and services we produce. Okay, so when you look at those traditional costing methods plus ABC, the cost that you will get in trying to calculate the total cost of a product that you're going to make, that cost is what is used, and then profit is added to it so that you can arrive at your selling price. And with that costing technique, you don't even care the selling price that you're going to arrive at, whether it's competitive or not. You know what I mean? For example, if producing a soap is going to cost you, let's say, $25 each, so what are you going to say? Okay, I'm going to add another $5 as my profit. Then your selling price will be how much? $30. So you'll say, okay, this $30, I'm going to sell the soap that I'm going to make. But have you checked whether the same soap in the market costs $30? Have you ever checked? In the previous costing techniques, you don't even care about those. So because you know that it's going to cost you this much, and this is the profit you're going to add, you just determine your selling price like that, without even considering what prevails in the market. What are some of the risks of that method? What are some of the risks?
I think what risks there is, if you make your price, without, consulting from the market force, you might end up, going to the market, finding out that, the price you are selling your product, is higher than, the market price.
Exactly. Very good. The price you are selling might be higher than the market price. And what's going to happen to your business?
You run out of losses.
You're going to run out of losses, because what's going to happen is people will not buy your products. Because if, like you say, okay, I'm going to sell my soap for $30, but in the market, the same soap is being sold for $20, who's going to buy yours?
Nobody.
No one will buy it, certainly. So this is why target costing is very, 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 very important. Okay? So we look at it. So traditionally, we calculate our selling price as a result of adding our unit cost to the profit that we anticipate. Okay? So like we say, the problems associated with that: one, there is no consideration of the market price of similar products. Okay? You just do it blindly. And as such, what's going to happen? Your products will not be demanded. Your business will not make revenue. At the end, you're going to run at loss. And if you run at a loss, is there any point you being in business again? No point. Okay? So by using this method, you don't challenge your costs, because when we're doing target costs, we're going to challenge our costs. Okay? So this is why we need target costing, because our current traditional costing techniques our current traditional costing techniques and the ABC are not the best way of costing in terms of determining our selling price. Okay, is this clear? Now, let's look at what is target costing. According to CIMA is the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. It defines target costing as a product cost estimate derived from a competitive market price. Yes.
So what you're trying to say is that target costing has an advantage over absorption and activity-based costing when it comes to determining the market price.
Exactly. It has got thousands and thousands of advantages over them, as we will see. Okay. We've all seen it for the first time. If we use those costing techniques, ABC, absorption costing, we will determine our total cost per unit, and we'll add our profit without considering what prevails in the market. So if we do that, we all agree that we're going to move out of business, because our products will not be demanded. We will not make sales. Okay? Is that clear? So we move. Shall we?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to look at the definition of target costing. Okay, so the definition by CIMA, that's Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, that's the sister organization for ACCA, but CIMA specializes in management accounts. Okay, so they define target costing as what? A product cost estimate derived from competitive market price. Okay, so it's just like any other costing estimate, but this time around it comes from the market price. Okay, so target costing is of course not just a costing technique, okay, unlike other methods, but it's rather a management technique wherein prices are determined by market conditions. Okay, that's why when you produce, when you make your production using target costing techniques, you don't have any problems with your products being demanded in the market. Because before, in fact, you produce, you already know how much your products are going to be sold in the market. As such, you make your, so first, it's like before, in fact, you go to production, you already know how much profit you are going to make from the products. You already know how much the products are going to cost you because you'll determine a target cost which you will work towards. Okay? So, when these factors come into picture, management wants to control the cost. Since you know the market price of your products, you already know your profit margin. So naturally, you'll have to work with a target cost. And because you want to work with a target cost, you have to manage your cost. If your current cost is more than your target cost, you have to manage your cost so that you can be able to achieve your target cost. Because one thing you have to know is, as a management of an organization, what you can do is you can control your cost, but you can never be able to control your selling price. The selling price is always determined by market forces, demand and supply. Is that not right?
Yes.
Good, good. Let's move. Okay, so a target cost naturally is equal to the selling price less the profit margin. Okay. So having understood what a target cost is, can we look at the steps that we need to follow in order to calculate our target cost? So the first step that we undergo is to determine possible selling price. Okay? The product you want to produce, you first determine how much you're going to sell that product. Is that clear? So in order to determine a possible selling price of, for example, your soap that you want to make, so what will be the first thing that you need to do? What do you do in order to determine a possible selling price of a product that you have not made yet, that has not gone into the market yet? So what will you do in order to determine a possible selling price?
Mr. Fofana?
Yes.
You have to consider all your components.
You have to consider
All your cost components for you to manufacture that particular shop.
You have to consider your cost component. Your mic is echoing.
Hello, Mr.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I think to determine a possible selling price, you first need to do a market research. You first need to do a market research.
Amadu's mic is misbehaving. Amadu? Okay, you muted it. Okay, go ahead, ma'am.
I said in order to determine a possible selling price.
Okay.
I think you need to do a market research to know in order to know the various prices available in the market. If you do your market research, then you can possibly estimate a price.
Excellent. 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 So that is it. So what you do, of course, in order to determine a possible selling price, like in our own case, let's say we want to produce a particular type of a soap. So we'll go around the market. We go to Serekunda market, we go to Brikama market, we go to Kanifi market, and try to compare the prices of the product that you're going to make. Okay, maybe in Serekunda market, they are offering, let's say, $22. In Brikama, you go there on average, let's say it's $23. In Banjul, maybe it's $20. Okay, so you determine the possible selling price by doing what? A market research. If it is a situation whereby it's advanced countries, so what they do is they prepare questionnaires, they send them around in order for people to fill them to get some information on the products they want to purchase. Okay, so you do a market price. You do a market research. Okay, so the market price, the market research will let you have the various possible prices, and then you can find an average of them that you're going to use for your product. Okay, so the next step is to establish the required profit margin. Okay, how do you establish a required profit margin? Every institution, every manufacturing organization, or every service industry, they have a way of determining how much profit they should make on each product they sell or on each service they provide. Okay, and that's usually stipulated in the organization's manual, financial manual. Okay, some organizations will say if we produce particular products, we are going to add 10% markup. Okay, some can say we're going to add 5% markup. So every organization have got their how to call it, profit regime. Okay, the way they calculate their profit. Okay, so you establish that, and then the next step will be to calculate your target cost. Okay, so now you've already got your possible selling price as a result of your market research. You determine your possible selling price. Then the next is you go to your organization's policy, and then you determine how much the selling price is usually. Do they usually take 5% of the selling price that is available in the market? You know, do they take 10% of the markup, and so on and so on. So the organization will have how to call it, a profit regime. Then after getting your required profit, so next is you calculate your target cost. And to calculate your target cost, the selling price you got, you deduct it from your you deduct the profit margin from the selling price. That will give you your target cost. And what that means is your target cost, as the word implies, target means something that you aiming at. So target cost means it's a cost that you're going to aim to produce each unit of the product you have not produced yet. Remember in the video it says what? Target cost is used at the design stage of production. Is this clear, everyone? Are we together?
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
Okay, good. So let's proceed. Now, the fourth stage is after determining your target cost, now you have to calculate your cost gap, okay? And then try to close the gap, okay? What will be the cost gap? That will be the difference between your total cost when you are using your other costing techniques like the ABC, like the absorption costing, what the total cost is going to give you, less your target cost. There will always be a difference. And your total cost, your total estimated cost using your ABC or your absorption costing will usually be higher than your target cost. So what you do is, the difference between the two, you try to eliminate it. Eliminating the difference between the two is what we call closing the gap. Okay, gap is always between two things. Okay, there is always gap between two things. So I usually give this example. For those of you who have used trains before, there is always a gap between the train and the platform. You know, the platform is where people stand and wait for trains. Okay, so I always remember that. The reason why I used to give, the reason why I like giving this example is when I'm rushing to attend my classes in London, I'm always on the underground like crazy, running like a mad rat. So I cannot forget those days. And each time you enter in some of the trade stations, the first thing you'll hear is, mind the gap, please. Mind the gap, please. Okay, so gap. So our own case, the gap we are talking about is not between the train and the platform, but is between our estimated cost using ABC or absorption costing and our target cost. Is this clear?
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Any questions, please, before we start answering the question?
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
Yes, go ahead.
So if there's a gap between the target cost and the estimated, the original cost, which is calculated,
the
method to use in reducing those costs is the two examples which are given in the video, right? Which is value engineering and Kaizen.
Exactly. That's very good, Amadou. Yes, that is it. We're going to arrive there, but we're just taking it step by step. So you're right, as you rightly pointed, the way to reduce the gap is by making use of VE and Kaizen costing. Okay, we'll come to that. Value engineering and Kaizen costing. Okay, these are all terminologies we've the West have stolen from Japan. You know, they're usually very good at these manufacturing, very good manufacturing techniques. The samples of TQM as well, total quality management and stuff. Okay, but for now, let's take step by step. So, any other observation or question? That was a good one, Amadou. Any other observation or question? Okay, so I guess we should move. So the first question that we have is just a very simple one. It's called CMC Limited. CMC Limited, a car manufacturing company, wants to calculate a target cost for a new car. Okay, they want to produce a new car, and as such, they want to calculate their target cost, the cost that they are going to use to produce each unit of the car. The price will be set at 20,000. So what have they done? CMC Limited have done a market research and came to a conclusion that on average, this same car is being sold at the market at £20,000. Okay? So try to put life into this question so that your understanding can be consolidated. Yeah, so that's what exactly means. So before CMC comes up with this, before they ask of calculating the target cost, the first thing they did was they did a market research. And they concluded that on average, this car they're trying to manufacture is going to cost about £20,000. Okay? So the next level is, what is the profit regime of CMC? The profit regime is that CMC charges 10% profit margin. So that's the 10% on the selling price. Okay, since they're going to use target costing. So they use their regime is 10% they charge on the selling price as their profit. Yeah. So now what is the target cost? Okay, very simple. What is the target cost? So we're going to go to the how to call it to the same file that we've been using to answer our question. So we're going to go to the same file. Okay, so if you have the file, it's going to be the same thing. For those of you who don't have it, I'll share it with you now. Okay, I'll share with you now. Okay, so I'm going to remove this projection. Maybe if you have your question handy, refer to your question, because I cannot project two screens at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to stop projecting the question. So refer to your question, and what I'm going to produce will be the spreadsheet solution, the Google Sheet solution. Are we on the same page?
Yes, Mr. Fofana.
Excellent, excellent, good. So I'm just gonna add this. That's the assignment. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the link for those of you who have not got it. For some of you who have got it, it's the same file. You know, majority of you already got access to it. So when you go to that file, I'm going to, start opening a new page, a new sheet from the beginning. So go to the beginning of the file. Yeah. So if you check your WhatsApp, for some of you who have not got it, I'm sending you the link now. Okay. That's the link on your WhatsApp. Okay. So what we're going to do is, can you see my Excel? Can you see the spreadsheet, the Google Sheet?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new worksheet. Okay. I'm going to create a new worksheet. For those of you using laptop or PC, the add sheet is just at the bottom left corner of the screen. For those of you that are using a mobile phone, I already showed you the last time. Okay, I already showed you the last time. So let's follow the same procedure. So it will be a lot better to follow me as we go along to understand it better. So just follow me. For some of you who have got access to computer, if you are finding it difficult, maybe you can just use your book and write. Okay, but it will be a lot better if you follow me using your spreadsheet, using your Google Sheet. Okay, so I just click to add. So once I say add, a new worksheet will appear. So I'm sending it here. Then I double click on it to rename it. So I'll call it example 5, EG5. Okay, EG5 CMC. Okay, so example 5 CMC. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to protect this sheet so that no one, can do something on it whilst I'm on it. Because if you already logged on, you'll be able to get this. You'll be able to get access to this sheet. But I don't want you to make anything there, any changes there. So I'm going to protect it. Okay, set permission so that only me can do it. Okay, but you can be able to view it. Okay, you can be able to view it. Okay, can you see me? Everybody, can you see? Can you see? Hello, class?
Yes, Mr. Fofana, we are
okay.
seeing.
So I have created a worksheet, as you can see at the bottom, called EG5 CMC. Okay, and when you look at the padlock, okay, that means this sheet has been protected. It's only the owner or the one who created it can be able to edit it. You can go in there. You can go like here. I'm seeing Robert Paul Mendy has clicked on it, but he won't be able to do anything on it. Okay, he cannot edit it. He cannot type anything there. Okay, so let's proceed. So from B2, I'll start answering my question. So it's called example 5. So I'll just say to shorten it, EG5. I put the name of the company. So the company name is CMC Limited, Ltd. Okay. So I'll try to expand it. I'll try to expand it so that you can be able to see clearly. And then I'll increase the font size so that the likes of me who don't have proper size can be able to see clearly. Okay, so example 5, CMC Limited. Okay, so what's the name of the statement that we're going to do? What's the name of the statement? Every statement must have, every answer must have a heading, isn't it? Okay, so it's a target cost statement, isn't it? Okay, so I'll say
Target costing, yeah.
Target cost statement. Target cost statement. Right. So when we are doing our target costing, the first thing we look at is what? When we are doing our steps, what's the first thing that we usually look at?
The targeted selling price.
It will be our selling price, okay? That's the selling price that we'll obtain after doing our market research, isn't it? Okay? So we'll have our target selling price. You can call it selling price or you can call it target selling price. It doesn't matter, okay? So you could say target selling price. Because after doing your market research, you've already known what was obtained at the market. So the selling price you are determining is just the same as your target selling price. That is the selling price that you're going to sell your products, okay, after they have been produced. So it's the same as target selling price. So you can say target selling price. Okay. So when you look at it, it's not fitting. The column B is smaller. So in order to expand it, what you do is you just click on here. Can you see? Can you see? Just click on here and then drag. You can drag it up to any level. Yeah, let's say we want to drag it up to here. We leave it here. Now it has been expanded. Okay. So the target selling price. Okay. So what's the target selling price?
20,000.
20,000. Okay. 20,000. Good. So we've started typing the numbers. Let's format the numbers so that the 1,000 separator can appear. 1,000 separator makes it easier to understand the numbers, okay? So in order to do 1,000 separator, I'm going to click on the column C, okay? Then I go to the format menu, okay? Format menu. I go to the number, okay? If this is a bit fast for you, please make sure when the class is over, try to play the video, step by step, play the video slowly and then try to demonstrate and try to practice as much as you can. Like I said, your set is very, very, very lucky. You're going to be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone unless you don't want to do that. Okay? So I go to the format menu. So I have the number. Then I'm going to choose the financial one. I told you this, my
Just
best
go back,
one.
Mr. Fofana, one more time. Just go back one more time, please.
Okay, I'll undo. Okay, so you got it up to target selling price, right? Mr. Barry?
Yes.
Please, no Roger. We are not in a military. No Roger, please. Ahmadu. Okay, right. So we have our target selling price, like I've already typed. But when you look at it, the target selling price is gone into column C. Look at it, this part here. So we want to expand the column. How do we expand the column? There are various ways of doing it. Okay, if you want to auto expand it, what you come here, you can come here in between the column that you want to expand and the next one. Once you go there, you right click and then you can double click. So if you double click, it auto expands. Can you see? So it will auto expand it. That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is by clicking here. Okay, click, and then you drag. You can drag it up to any level. Okay. Right. Then we have our target selling price. Now the next is the selling price amount. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, in fact, I'm going to jump this column. I'll use this column for the percentage. So I'll go to the next column. Okay. So this next column also, I'll show you how to format it. So how do you format it? You highlight on the whole column. You go to the format menu. Okay. You go to number. Then you select from here. These are the various number formatting options as we have gone through during our previous classes. Okay. So what we like as accountants is the financial one that will show you 2 decimal places by default with 1,000 separator, and then also if negative numbers, it will be in brackets. So I choose that one. Okay, so now I have formatted it when in fact there are no numbers there yet. Okay, so let's go through formatting once more. So this column here, column C, I want to use that for my percentages. So I'm going to format it using percentages. So same procedure, click on C, go to format menu, number, and then select percentage. Where is percentage? See, percent. So once you select that, then that will give you your percentage format. Okay, so the selling price, we go to the next column, which is column D, is 20,000. Agreed, everybody?
Yes, Mr. Fuad.
Okay, right. So after the selling price, what do we look at in order to calculate our target cost?
We look at the profit margin.
Okay, we look at our target profit. Okay, so that one is also going to be our target profit. So that's the profit we're going to target. Okay, so we look at our target profit. The same thing. Okay, so the target profit has not been given to us, but a percentage has been given. And what's the percentage?
10%.
Okay, profit
10%.
margin. And profit margin is always on what? On cost or on sales?
Always on cost, on selling price.
It's on selling price. Okay, so we have our 10%. So I'm going to type 10. So once you formatted it, you just have to type the number. You don't have to do any other thing. So once you type the number, it's going to bring the percentage sign on it. Okay, so the target profit, we have to calculate it, isn't it? So it's 10% on the selling price. So what formula are we going to put here? Can someone help?
Yeah, make
where are extras?
Maybe equal to 10
equal sign.
Okay, we do equals.
Go to D6, 20,000.
No, say just what you say, the reference, yes. So D6
multiplied by
multiplied
D7.
by
C7.
multiplied by
C7.
C7.
C7 multiplied by C7.
Yeah, just
C7. Okay, and you enter. So you have 2,000. Can you see that? Okay, so now we can calculate our target cost. So our target cost, so what will be our target cost?
Equals to?
Equals to?
Okay, we press equals to?
D5, D6.
Yasin, okay. B6, I click on, no, what? D6?
Click on 20,000.
D6.
D6,
Minus.
Okay,
D7.
minus
D7.
D7, and we enter. Okay, good. Correct? Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay, now, let me tell you how to show only formulas here. Okay, if you want to view only the formulas on this, so that you'll be able to know whether your answer is right or wrong. Okay, so at this juncture, so I'm going to write Google Sheet. Google Sheet functions. Learn. Okay, so we're going to put them here just so that you know what. So what's the first function we learned in this question? We know how to do the percentage, isn't it? Percentage calculation. Okay, we know how to do the percentage calculation from here. Okay, what else? What other function have we learned?
1,000 function.
No, I'm talking about spreadsheet function. We just did one here.
Expansion of the cell reference.
Okay, expansion. Expansion of columns.
Number formatting.
Number formatting.
And the 1000 separator.
Okay, 1000 separator. The reason why I'm doing this is so that when you are reviewing, you'll be able to know what have you gone through. If you have not understood it, you can be able to go back and do it again. And what else did we learn? The subtraction, the multiplication, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, we learned the multiplication. And what else?
The addition and the subtraction.
We did not do the addition yet, but we did the subtraction.
We did subtraction. We did the subtraction.
Okay, we did subtraction. Okay, so if we want to see the formula for all this, what do? You go to the menu called View. Okay, everybody, this is very important. So you go to Menu, View. Okay, So formulas. Can you see? View, then show formulas. If you say show formulas, look at it. It's only going to show you formulas for the cells that have been calculated. Can you see? So now what you see is instead of the profit here, it shows you the formula. Okay? Here, instead of the target cost, it shows you the formula for the target cost. Can you see?
So Mr. Foreman, on the whole, how you get to spot out people who copy direct without projecting or
So this is it. If I give you assignment, I ask you to use formulas. If you don't use formula, I'll know it. I'll definitely know it. Okay? So this is it. Right. So so if you don't want formulas to appear, you go back, view, and where it says show formula, okay, show formula, look at it, it's ticked here. So once you highlight it again, it's unticked, and then it will show you the values instead of the formula. Okay, so you have also learned how to show formulas. You people will have to, you'll have to pay extra on your fees, huh? I'm going to charge you extra, okay? No, but I'll charge only the Yominkas. Only the Yominkas will have to pay.
Maybe to you, but not to the UTG.
Okay. Anyway. Right. So let's proceed. Then we can do a bit of formatting. I think it's really important. Let's do a bit of formatting. This is a very simple one. We'll proceed, but just know how to. For example, let's say the heading here. We want the heading to be centered. So what we do is we click on here. We try to center it in the area we want it to be centered to. Okay, so click that area, and then look at this. There is a function called merge cells. So you click on merge cells. Once you do that, all those cells will be merged into one. Okay, 3 cells merged into one. Okay, and if you want to, if you want the text in that cell to be centered, so you come here. Okay, you come here and you select center. Okay, it will be centered for you. Okay, let's say you want the text to be white and the background blue. You want the text to be white and the background blue. Okay, so we go to the text, look at it, text color. Okay, once you click on text color, various colors will appear. So this one is white. Okay, but can you see anything? Can you see anything?
No.
No.
Why can't you see it?
Because the background is white and the text is white.
And the text is white. White on white. It's not visible. It's just like Rohi used to say, black man in black uniform, even the criminals are complaining they can't see them at night. You know about Rohi? That black British guy who used to preach in those days. Then, you know, ROI, you know him? He said, sought for royalty. I'm sure you'll know about it. In those days, we used to play it a lot. He says, black man, black uniform, even the criminals are complaining they can't see them at night. So the same thing here, white text on white background, it's not visible. So it's only going to be visible when you change the background to a different color. So let's say we want to change the background to blue color. So we can select any of the blue. Look at it. Is it visible now? Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is visible now, Mr. Fofana.
Okay. So let's say we want to replicate this. We want to copy this so that we have the same thing on our target cost. What we do is we don't do much efforts, but just click on it and then click this. Look at it. Paint format. Can you see? So you just click paint format and then you click here. So once you look at it, just like that, it has done that as well. Can you see? Can you see? Okay.
Yes.
So let's
Go
say
back
we want to put
Can
this
you please go back?
Okay, I do that again.
Yes.
Yes, one more.
Okay. So if you type it, this is the way it's gonna be. Look at it. It's not centered. It's not, but we want we've just centered our main heading. Okay. Now we want the same formatting on the main heading to come on here as well. So you don't have to go back and say highlight this, go to the font color, and then do this and do. No. Once you got what you want and then you want to replicate that, it's very simple. You use what we call a format painter. This is also available in Excel. Okay, it's the same function. Excel calls it paintbrush or format painter or whatever they call it. So it's the same thing here. Here it's called paint format. Okay, so once you click on the area that you want to paint, you just click on that brush like something, paint format. Once you click on it, then you come and click once and it takes the format like that. Can you see? Okay, so this is the way we do our paint formatting. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the work. We try to give it a nice frame. So we're going to give it borders. So we highlight it and then go to look at it. Look at our borders here. Look at it. So you click on borders. Okay, you say which type of border. Okay, let's say we want to use this border, but we want, let's say, a lighter lines. Look at it. You click here. So we choose these lighter lines. So that will give us this border. Okay. Let's say we want to put border around, thick borders around everything. So we just highlight the area we want to do the thick borders. And then we come here. Okay. So this is the outer border that we want to use. Click on the outer border. And then you come here. You click on the thick one. Once you do that, it has done for you. Is this not nice? Is this not?
It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Nice.
It's gorgeous. Excellent. Okay. So I'll just add.
Mr. Fofana, I think now Awad is enjoying it too.
Huh?
He was complaining about it in the board, but
Yes,
now he's enjoying it.
that's why I told him. I said to him, let's just go. When we go, you'll enjoy it. You'll not want me to go back to to the board. I'll say board. No, Amadou, please. So now, Amadou, you can see what I was saying, yeah? There's no need for a board.
Yeah.
You can see.
Honestly, we will get there, sir. We will get there, sir. Yes, sir. We will get there. Honestly.
Okay. So
yes,
we
sir.
have our paintbrush. Okay, we've just learned how to do the paintbrush, and we've just learned how to do the borders as well. Okay, so that's the reference for you. So any questions before we move to the next question? I hope it's clear. Both the target costing aspect is very simple, but I'm concerned with the Excel aspect, the spreadsheet aspect. Have you learned something? But I know you will not be able to understand everything just like that. But please, if you want to do justice to yourself, go over this video. Okay, go over this video. Okay, it's really, really important that we go over the video at your free time. Okay. So now, before I proceed, what I'll do is I will.
Mr.
Yes, Mustafa. Go ahead, Mustafa.
Guys, one thing, every spreadsheet aspect that you come up with, we learn new thing on it. So the assignment that we submit to you, there are other aspects that we didn't apply on it. But for next assignment, all those one will be applicable.
No problem, no problem. No, this is what we're going to do throughout. So inshallah, even in between, even if the how to call it, the thing stops, I will recommend we go for this, because you are getting twice, isn't it? What I'm, even if the lockdown stops in between, I will recommend we go for this, because I think
it's really
good. So any more before we move on? We're going to do a couple of slides and then we answer the next question.
Well, for me, I've already learned how to highlight and how to do the number. Well, I've learned a lot today.
If you can move the recordings, so that you will be
yes, in fact, I'm going to stop the recording now so that it's not too long. I'm going to stop it now.